Okay, hi chat. I finally finished eating, so it's flower petal commentary time. Coolest is already off to a lead to start off with, 2-0. Definitely see a bit of the speed gap here, if I'd say so myself. Okay, the TST tower from Cold? No way. Into big downstack spike. Yeah, definitely a well-executed spike by Coldless. Ooh, the STSD LST continuation of Coldless is interesting. I don't see that super often, but it is an interesting one. Coldless or Star seems to be struggling a little bit to downstack there. Trying to set up a skim, but not really executing it fast enough to get anywhere. Cold building up a quick back-to-back. We might see some Surge gameplay. Star trying to build up some back-to-back of their own, but yeah, already building up such a deficit that the Surge did kill. Star's board a little bit messy, but managed to clean it up without too much difficulty. But as he was trying to clean it up, Cold has been steadily building up his back-to-back. Getting up to a bit of a surge. Cold is definitely really able to build up those small surges and release them at an opportune time to kill Star. And especially with the speed gap, it's definitely really hard for Star to counter those. Yeah, we see Star here trying to build up a back-to-back chain of his own, but having to break now. And he's just at the top of his board while Cold was ready to punish. Small spike. Yeah, from what I've seen here, I think Cold has been just been with the speed gap and all, just really able to mount a lot more pressure and catch Star off guard. Ooh, Star making interesting use of all spins to try to keep back-to-back. Unfortunately, still having to break. I did watch Star do some Con Artist runs earlier, so perhaps that gameplay is seeping into this a little bit. Once again, Cold able to just deliver that finishing blow with a bit of a surge. Well played. It is round robin today, so we will be seeing all of the players playing each other once. We have 4 players today. We just had Star and Coldless. Up next will be Summer J and Q777. Sorry for the slight delay. Just had to check some things. Alright, here's our versus screen. Let me pull up the predictions. Alright, go gamble, guys. Yeah, and these two players, they are just 1 seed apart, but you can see there's a little bit of a TR gap, stats gap. So be interesting to see. PCO start from Summer J. You see Hugh really struggling to stack cleanly with that board there. Summer setting up a 4 wide. Not something you see super often these days, but definitely something Summer has opted to use quite a bit when I've seen him play in Radiant. And that 4 wide spike was just too much for Hugh to handle. Once again, we see the forward start from Summer J. Hugh opting to go for SDPC. Really trying to get a lot of pressure on Summer's board before he can react. And Summer is just barely able to get out of that. Really impressive down stack there. Summer getting pushed up to the top, really having to skim quite a bit to get out of that stack, while Hugh is sitting comfortably at the bottom. Of course, once Summer got out of that, it's pretty much safe from there. And so now we see Hugh making use of all that garbage that Summer has sent him. Big spike from Summer, but not enough to kill. See both players starting to build up some back-to-backs. Hugh breaking, and Summer J not having enough to defend. A Surge gameplay goes crazy. Ooh, bit of a 4-wide spike from Summer J, but Hugh living it. Not caught off guard this time. Hugh's board was not in a great position to defend from that pressure from Summer J there. Summer J getting pushed up after the failed PC loop, but just getting down just fine. Neither player really getting an advantage here. I feel like they're occasionally sending spikes and then, or sending like surges and then going back to normal as if nothing happened. RJ was in a bit of a tricky spot earlier, but getting out just fine. We see both players returning to a low board state. Just gonna build up. You might see those big surges again. Hugh breaking already. And Summer J also forced to break, unable to pull off that TST. And Hugh here, the one making great use of garbage to top out Summer when they were in a vulnerable position. I think they're starting to build up some back-to-back. This could be tricky for Hugh, but he's also building up some back-to-backs. Fortunately, Summer did break, which did force Hugh to break. So we're back again to an even playing field. Okay, really interesting J-spin or L-spin from Summer J. As someone who is not as well versed in all spins, it is really interesting to see all the unique all spins that people pull off. And Summer J getting pushed up to the top without being able to defend. Okay, we got the double SDPC, although Hugh, I'm actually not sure what the situation that was. That looked a little bit like extended, but then he didn't extend it. And Summer J's SDPC loop reigned supreme. Oh, I think Hugh just does SDPC into some kind of just like 3-6 stacking. But in any case, it was the Summer J SDPC that won again. Honestly, this is really a statement about society, I think. Like, Tetris is a solved game. Just do whatever variation of SDPC you want. Here again, we see Summer J just really able to put out that pressure in and coming out of the opener phase. Hugh just not having quite the resources to defend. Hugh going for PC this time. Fortunately, PCs do not send the greatest amount, and Hugh is now left with a bit of a messy board state. Gonna really struggle to get down. Seems like Hugh is really struggling coming out of the opener phase, just not having a great stack. We got the LST from Summer J's side. Classic. I approve. And just relentless pressure from Summer J. In addition to the like surge spike. See some nice upstack from Summer J's side, while Hugh has a rough eyepiece misdrop on his board. Once again, these like pretty quick rounds that are like not quite opener rounds, but like just past opener. Summer J just all around is able to pressure a lot more. We got the 4 wide again. But Hugh did a great job of defending from the 4 wide damage. It's very good because 4 wide damage is obviously very cheesy, and Hugh really able to keep up the pressure out of that. Unfortunate T-piece misstrat from Hugh, really complicating the down stack, and Summer J able to take advantage at the end there, securing a win, 11-4. Obviously Summer J was dominant and did come out on top, but Hugh did not go down without a fight. Alright, next up, we are going to see our top 2 seeded players, Coldless and Summer J. We just saw Summer J play, we saw Coldless play at the beginning of the tournament. Definitely 2 very impressive players. We got, global number 11 and global number 23. Both players opting for no warm-up, going right into the game. Also, I think Summer J may need to leave halfway through this match and then come back afterwards. So I guess don't be surprised when that happens. Or maybe they'll speed run this match. It's gonna be a quick 5-minute match with every round being 10 seconds. I don't know. You never know. Sometimes games of Tetris can be so unpredictable. This first match, though, not really turning out to be one of those. Fortunately, Summer J caught in a bad position at the top of the board. Coldless just continuing to pressure. We got Coldless with a big surge over here. Building up a big surge, but unfortunately it's not able to make it super big. And so Summer J was able to cancel off. No sweat. It's always funny seeing the like gravity LJ spin. So it's equal. Let's do it here in match. Very impressive. Unfortunately, it was not enough to give Cold the round. You know, it's kind of funny referring to Coldless as Cold and like interchangeably referring to him as like Coldless and Cold because they technically mean opposite things. Are you not cold? I think from what we've seen in this match though, I think Coldless is coming in pretty hot. Okay, maybe actually the down stack goes crazy. Summer J's at the bottom just doesn't really have so much pressure. And Coldless able to get out of the situation at the top of his board. We got the Surge gameplay from Summer J. And Coldless tops out. Player really getting a huge advantage over here. Summer J is a little bit higher on the board with some more cheese, but getting to that cheese with no sweat. Cold now, getting up, but with so much clean, it's not really a problem at all. Cold here, building up the back-to-back and not breaking, even when Summer J had to break Surge. Maybe breaking now? And Summer J just unfortunately, a misdrop, and it's not the greatest of board states. See, Summer J going for the 4-wide once again, but not really getting off a good combo, so it doesn't really do anything. And Coldless has just used his time to build up a bit of a back-to-back, unfortunately misdropping, having to break the Surge here. But now Summer J is the one with a really nice 6-3 stack, ready to just keep building up those back-to-back chains. Very, very clean stacking from Summer J. Coldless is trying to find anything, but Summer J is continuing to build and sending off a 33 spike. with the surge plus the down stack. That was very impressive. Alright, now we see both players sort of stacking up. Summer J was going for the 2-7, Coldless 6-3, but at the end of the day, you know, it's all back to back. Seems like neither player is doing too great in terms of actually keeping back to back, like, doing a lot of skimming and stuff. Although, honestly, I don't really understand the strategy, because I have like 0 macro, but maybe it was strategic. I don't know. Unfortunately, Summer J not in a position to defend from that spike from Coldless. And now we see Summer J starting to build up this back-to-back, but Cold sending quite a bit of cheese. And even before getting to the cheese, Summer had to break. Ooh, Coldless not able to do that eye spin to get the eye piece into the well. Gonna cost him the round. We got the opposite side LSDs. So real. Coldless misdropping. Gonna mess up the board a little bit while Summer J continues, but break actually not soon after, or not long after, and the resulting surge plus down stack spike sent Coldless to the top. Ooh, Summer Jade's pressure was really relentless, especially with all of that cheese. Not giving Coldless a chance to really get out of that. Alright, Summer J having to disconnect. And we'll wait for him to come back. So it was 6-3 before the disconnect. Oh, Coldless's spacebar keeps getting jammed, costing. Damn, that's really unfortunate. Interesting to see. I'll be looking out for if this little break in the middle of the set will change things around. The Summer J having to um, go to another class, I think, and then Cole is potentially fixing his spacebar problem. I'll be honest, I do not remember the exact minute that they DC'd. Um, but I did see like maybe a minute after that it was like 45. So I'll just pick 45 as like the time that they DC'd, and then they have 10 minutes to get back from then. Oh, I just noticed I was looking at Cold and Summer's TRs. Cold is actually 24K now. I honestly do not really keep up with the TRs outside of like my TR range because it's like kind of still fluctuating, I feel like. I definitely think there's a bit of inflation that's still kind of going on, and it's definitely a lot more stable now than it was, a few months ago. Okay, about like 5 minutes having passed now. Um, we have yet to see either player return to the Tetra room, which is fine. They still have a little bit more time. Summer J returning now, but Colas perhaps still working out the kinks of his keyboard issue. Okay, with both players back, we are going to start from 6-3. So to simulate starting from 6-3, I've set it to FT8, and we have Coldless top out 3 times. And then we should be able to continue as normal from there. Be just like we never ever took a break. Alright, now onto the actual game. Ooh, big spike from Coldless. Maybe it's his turn to turn things around. Seems like Cold is definitely changed some things up during the break. Let's fix the spacebar problem, and getting a couple quick wins off from Summer J, but Summer J can adapt. Perhaps we will see, you know, not quite a reversal, but see. Yeah, Summer J here with a bit of back-to-back, but immediately misdropping and breaking Surge. And now Cold is the one starting to build up that back-to-back. And Cold getting pushed to the top. Summer J not letting things get tied up. Trying to maintain that lead there. With that big back-to-back chain from Summer J. Getting another quick win here. Summer J really trying to finish things up before having to switch classes again. Color clear from Summer J as he's unable to continue the PC loop. Yeah, when Coldless is able to really get a nice back-to-back chain, it can be scary, but Coldless misdropping here, having to break, just barely skimming out of death. Summer J's attack, able to catch Colas at a bad time, and we are just 2 points away from Summer J taking this set. And since this is the match between the top 2 seeds, this could be the match that determines who wins the whole tournament. So it is definitely one to really watch out for. And now Colas here with the crazy pressure. Just absolutely demolishing Summer's board with garbage. Seems like Colas has an early misdrop here. And Summer J just able to get the pressure in the opener. And we are at match point. It is 10-6. Colas would need 5 games in a row to win this, which is a bit of a tall order. Summer J with the 4Y. Does not get a huge 4-wide spike, and Colas is able to already build up a bit of a back-to-back here. But Summer J is going quite quickly, trying to build up a back-to-back chain of his own. Both players breaking before any significant damage can be done to either board. Summer J now at the top with a bit of cheese. We need to downstack through that quickly, but Cold had a bit of a rough board and couldn't really pressure while Summer J was in a tough spot. And now Cold is the one with a bit of cheese on his board. Summer J now in a great position to pressure with a really nice stack at the bottom of the board, taking this set 11-6. Yeah, that was a crazy match where we definitely saw some really good back and forth. Very, very impressive gameplay from both Cold and Summer J. Anyway, let's move on to our next match. It's going to be Hugh777 and Call Me Star. Despite being 1 seed apart, they are 2,000 TR apart. A little bit of a gap. Only chance they tap the left side. Guys, please gamble so I don't have to see another nobody thought this would happen. We're still waiting on the players to join the room right now, so let me take a look at these players. I mean, I don't know, a bit of a gap. Star being the token U rank of this tournament. Star, you'd win. So true. I honestly don't know if there are any, if there's like anything I can chill while I'm like waiting or something. Um, I guess I can chill HNs. Okay. I can chill, my favorite chat command, Discord, or my favorite chat commands, okay? Discord and donate. If for some reason you are watching this and you're not in our Discord, please join. We do stream announcements, we run our tournaments, people actually chat in there. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, if you want to hang out, come join us. And then donate if you would like to help us fund our prize pools and a little bit of production costs. Please donate. Yeah, and I also give a little bit of a briefer about credits because I know this question comes up occasionally. So basically, for HN weeklies, we have this system where if you win a tournament, you get 1 credit, and then so these credits can be redeemed at any time within a year. They do expire in a year because I don't want to keep paying out credits forever. But yeah, so these credits can be redeemed within a year after they were won, and you can redeem them for anything of value up to $5 before tax. So like Tattoo supporter is always an option, but people can get really creative. Actually, wait, is this a command? Tracking? Oh, wait, that's not the one I wanted. Okay, wait. Alright, this is what I was intending to get. prizetracking.hummingbirdnest.net. You guys can actually see everyone who gets credits, which is mostly tournament winners, but there's a small amount of non-tournament winners. Like we raffled out 1 credit for Daybreak Week. And that's the nice thing about credits is that they're really versatile. You can kind of do whatever with them. But anyway, the more interesting part is looking at what people redeem these credits for. Let me see what interesting ones there are. Lots of Tetris supporter. There's a Genshin Impact, Blessing of the Welkin Moon. Hypixel Skyblock Gems. Archaea Memories. Wuthering Waves Lenite subscription. Mahjong Soul Fortune Charm is $4.99. Bro, you gotta win so you can get it. Anyway, we finally got the players in the room, so... Oh. Wait. I may have accidentally started the match for warm-up when I didn't mean to. It's okay, I aborted the round. We're gonna play the actual set now. No way. Call Me Star versus Hugh 777. We got the stall opener. Kind of crazy. Call Me Star going into a nice LST. Hugh doing a bit of spiking. Star not quite able to defend. Okay, the funny Z-spin kick from Star. Big spike from Star. He was really trying to find a way down stack, but misdropping the acid there. Still seems, or never mind, not able to get down with Star's continued pressure after the spike. Star with a big back-to-back chain, breaking it, getting a 35 spike, but Hugh still surviving. Unfortunately, the pressure after that was enough to top Hugh out. Also, I just noticed, Hello Cat just sent a $10 donation. Thank you so much. I will need to do a ping for that in a second. And Star's back-to-back pressure enough to kill. Unfortunately, Star's stack there not too hot as Hugh's pressure topped him out. Hugh with some really nice continued back-to-back finds, culminating in a 27 spike. Hugh trying to turn things around, possibly? Star did have a nice spike out of the surge, but nothing that Hugh could not defend from. Seems like Hugh was able to turn things around, finally getting a lead in this set. Will he be able to keep it for the next 7 points? And again, Star not in a great position at the top of his board. possibly greeting at the end there? Hugh 777, more like Hugh 90. And Hugh's big spike there, bringing him up to 6-3. Ooh, Hugh being very efficient with the pressure that round. Ooh, we saw that big spike from Hugh really push Star up, and then just a little bit of pressure on top of that. Really top Star out. Seems like Hugh has found his stride, not losing a single point over the last, like, 8 rounds. Hugh really managing to defend from the pressure from Star, and we see the game go back to a sort of neutral state.
You know, I think Tetris in this form at least, it's a very interesting game. It's like you're always by default in like a neutral position. You really have to work hard to find a way to make an advantage for yourself. Whether that be in the form of a counter spike or, you know, like surge. Q's lead is only growing now. Okay, the imp cross from Q, but unfortunately with the misdrop, really making his board not so hot, and Star taking another point. His first in a while. Perhaps it's time for the comeback? Real, not fake? Unfortunately, Star is not able to turn around the momentum, and we see Hugh bringing things up to match point. Star opting to go for all spins, but kind of screwing up his board in the process a little bit. And Hugh's still sitting at the bottom of the board. Things pretty clean on his side. And Hugh getting a lot of pressure in addition to the surge from breaking there, winning the set 11-4. Alright, our next match is going to see Star play again, but this time against Summer J. Players opting for no warm-up, and we are going right into the game. Call Me Star versus Summer J. Both players with one letter substituted for a number in their name. Oh wait. Sorry, accidentally clicked the transition button. My bad, guys. Well, Summer J sent quite a bit of cheese to Star's board, which he's really struggling to get down through. But now Summer's picking up the pace with all of those back-to-backs for great pressure. Summer J starting off with early missed drops, but seems to clean them up just fine. And Summer J not doing too great there, getting topped out. Ooh, Summer J's pressure there, very strong. I definitely think there's just a huge gap in what both players are able to achieve in terms of like APM, and Summer J is really making full use of that to send a ton of pressure to Star that he isn't able to defend. Yeah, Summer J just continuing to use that back-to-back or even not back-to-back pressure. Ooh, Summer J misdropping the top of the board in his 4 wide. Very unfortunate. this gives Star one more win in his uphill battle against Star. Summer J really not letting Star take anything here, just trying to pressure Star as much as he can. Ooh, Star getting a huge spike out of the 4-wide, unfortunately misdropping as soon as he finishes, which means that Star is able to counter pressure. Yeah, sometimes when you get those big spikes, if you're able to live it, you can send a really big counter spike, and it can be turned into your advantage. So spikes are, a little bit of a high-risk thing, because obviously if you do it well, then you succeed and your opponent tops out, but if you don't, then you just give your opponent so much ammunition. And Summer here topping out. I didn't quite see what happened, but Star getting another point in this set. And we see Summer and Jay here taking things to match point. Just one more round in this set, which is actually both of these players' last set. This is the last round of our round robin tournament, so these players will play, and then our other two players will play, and then we will be done with the tournament. It is, especially since we don't have so many people, it is fairly fast. And if it were like not streamed, it would be like even faster, because you don't even have to like wait for other matches to finish before you can play your own. You can just play whatever match is open. And Summer J continuing to pump out that pressure, taking this set 11-4. And we're going to move on to our very, very last set now, which is Hugh versus Cold. Alright, we have Hugh and Cold here. Seed 8 versus Seed 1. We did see Hugh, like, put up a good fight against Summer J, so we'll see how he fares against Coldless this time. Going into our last match of this tournament. And remember, it is round robin, so it is not grand finals. This is just what happened to be the last match that challenge gave us. I'm just going in the match order that challenge gave us. Except for the first match we did, her Summer J's request. So, that was a quick round. Coldless off to a strong start. We're gonna see him try to speedrun things. Both continuing back-to-back despite Hugh breaking, and Cold's back-to-back pressure was just very strong there. Cold can definitely be very scary when you get from those back-to-back chains. Yeah, Cold's kind of running away with things. Yeah, Hugh here really trying absolute hardest to set up a good back-to-back, but Cold is just faster. And again, Hugh getting caught off guard by Cold's pressure. Wait, was that like the washing machine on Cold's board, or am I only like saw it out of the corner of my eye. But anyway, Hugh taking his first point of the set. And I think here, Cold is really able to make great use of just pressure, while Hugh does not quite have the stacks to counter it. And Hugh mid-dropping here, complicating things even further. The set has gone by quite quickly, I feel like. Well, these rounds not lasting super long. And Cole taking things to match point. And Hugh seeming to clean through that garbage, okay. But Cole is just continuing to pile on this back-to-back. Having to break here. Hugh at the bottom of his board could be time for him to build up some attack of his own. Hugh able to take yet one more point. The start of a comeback, real not fake. Hugh taking yet another point. Nice spike from Coldest, but Hugh living just fine. Hugh is not letting things go, even though it is match point, trying to get every last bit of fight out of this round. Colt getting put in a bad position once again. Hugh already up to 5 points, got 4 points in a row. Ooh, Hugh's misdrop there. Maybe not gonna bode well for more points. Yeah, unfortunate. And Cold taking this last set of the tournament. 11-5. Alright, and that's it for Stratosphere 107. The final standing is first place Summer, second place Cold, third place Hugh, and fourth. Oh my god, wait, I did not realize I was muted for the end portion. Because I remember I muted, I can't remember exactly for what, and then I completely forgot to unmute. So, that's on me, chat. Whoops. I mean, honestly, I was kind of spacing out towards the end, so I was not doing any particularly insightful commentary. But wait, that's it for sharks. Oh, why did it cut off then? I was not muting, like, cause I what? Like I was muted in OBS, but I feel like did I click on it on accident? That's weird. I didn't realize that. Anyway, thanks for letting me know. But yeah, I don't know. Not much else for me to say. What's the... I got a raid. Yeah, I'm going to raid Royal Queen Hope. They raid us a lot, so I'd like to return the favor. Yeah. Thanks to everyone. Hope to see y'all around in the Discord or maybe here next week. Goodbye.